As co-chairs of this year's event, we would like to welcome all of you to the event for women, the Jewish Federation of Southern New Jersey's premier multi-generational women's event to benefit the 2014 annual campaign.
We're here tonight to support a multitude of programs and services in our local community, in Israel, and around the world. We want to thank you for participating in our Mitzvah project this evening to benefit students in Title I elementary schools currently participating in the Jewish Community Relations Council's Bookmates Literacy Program.
On a night celebrating Jewish women, we would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge how lucky we are to have so many remarkable female leaders throughout the Federation and its family of agencies. We thank all of you for being here tonight.
The Jewish Federations of North America touch more Jewish lives on the planet compared with any other organization in existence. We affect them in countless ways. By giving to the Federation, so do you. It is now my honor to welcome our Federation President, Betty Adler, to bring us the global good that Federation provides to a more personal level.
In many ways, Federation is a large, extended, but still close-knit family. On October 14th, just one day after I was installed as president for the second year of my term, my nice, comfortable world turned upside down. My husband, Frank, was diagnosed with stage 4 incurable cancer. Less than 6 weeks ago, I lost my very best friend and my soulmate. Federation has been here to help me throughout this unspeakable time, during Frank's illness and in these painful weeks since. Federation is family, reaching out to provide help and a connection, with friendship and hugs and lots of love. I've never felt more in awe of the organization as I have these past 6 months, as my husband Frank battled with grace, with dignity, a very painful cancer that had spread to his bones. It's hard for me to adequately express just how grateful I am for the Jewish Federation and our family of agencies. From the immobilizing moment when we first received the diagnosis, the overwhelming show of support, meals and visits coordinated by the Federation staff, volunteers, board members, friends that have become like my family, late night listening ears, all easing the burden so that I was able to treasure every last precious minute with my husband of 34 years. I've been deeply moved by how much our Federation steps in at times of both personal and communal crises, and it comes together to help. The love and the support has been remarkable. So many people reached out with prayers, hugs, errands, food, shoveling snow, whatever else was needed without my even asking. Our extended Federation family truly is a gift. Federation is an amazing organization that functions with and through our agencies. We really embody our tagline, the strength of a people and the power of community. Federation truly makes a difference in people's lives every day, especially our own. Thank you.
Tonight is about women, and I would like to take time to honor all of you. Thank you for being part of our Federation's women's philanthropy and for your continued commitment and belief in our cause. At Federation, we believe that the very future of the global Jewish community is inextricably linked to the fastest growing phenomenon in fundraising today, women's philanthropy. We know the future of our Jewish community rests in the hands and hearts of our wonderful women. Each and every one of us makes a difference through our giving, making sure that our voices are heard and our passions are realized.
This is just an incredible honor for me to be able to introduce Gloria Steinem. I know her in 2 ways, although I met her for the first time tonight. Now, fast forward to 1992, the Clinton-Gore campaign was planning a women's bus trip. They called me and said, would I help organize this event? It was one of the first times I was involved in organizing a national event. I said, well, who's going to be on the bus? Is President Clinton going to be on the bus? Now, of course, he wasn't going to be on the bus. But they told me Gloria Steinem was going to be on the bus. So I told everybody I knew that Gloria Steinem was coming to Cherry Hill. This was the days before internet. We sent out invitations. Nobody ever told Gloria Steinem she was coming to Cherry Hill. The day before, they told me they'd made a mistake and she really wasn't going to be in Cherry Hill. She was in Dallas or Chicago or someplace like that. But of course, we went ahead with the event anyway. We had 800 women show up at what was then the Hyatt. There were other women on the bus. It was an absolutely fabulous event, but no Gloria Steinem. As we were leaving, an older woman, well, I say older, she was probably younger than I am now, but came up to me and said, "When's Gloria Steinem going to speak?" So, from 1992 until this day, my friends and colleagues tell the story whenever there's an event of any kind. President Clinton could be coming, Hillary Clinton could be coming, Bishop Tutu could be coming, and they'll say, "Well, is Gloria Steinem coming?" So I am so proud tonight to introduce you to our guest of honor, a writer, a lecturer, an editor, a feminist activist, someone who has made a difference each and every day, someone who has made a difference for all of us, from the youngest girl or boy to the oldest man or woman. Gloria Steinem has changed our lives. And so let's give a great big South Jersey welcome to Gloria Steinem.
Well, are we going to have a good time tonight or what? Actually, Susan you look great, was telling me that story, which is actually my nightmare, you know, that I'm supposed to be someplace I don't know I'm supposed to be and people are mad at me that I'm not there. So thank you for purging the nightmare. Thank you for being a mayor. Great. And thank Susan and thank Betty both for telling stories. The women's movement and every change that I know of has come out of stories. And we need to bridge the distance with stories and listening to each other's stories between males and females and between the so-called masculine and the so-called feminine, which are really all human. I think that roles based on gender may be no more humane or inevitable than those based on race or caste or class or anything else that isn't either earned or chosen. We are also the biggest source of cheap labor in this country or in the world. And a lot of people are making a lot of money off our work. Think about the economic stimulus, for instance, that we talked about so long during the economic crisis. All right, the truth of the matter, the rock bottom truth of the matter is that the biggest economic stimulus this country could ever have would be equal pay. And if you paid women equally for the comparable work done by white men, you would have $220 billion more in the economy every year. That's huge. And you know those women are not going to put it in a Swiss bank account. No. We're going to spend it, right? And we're going to nourish the economy. Then there is the fact that at least a third of the work in the country that is productive, nationally necessary work isn't called work at all. It's all the work of raising children, of taking care of invalids, of the elderly, all that work of caregiving is a third of the work in this country. It's actually more than half of the work in many other countries. And it is completely free. Homemakers are called women who don't work. Homemakers happen to work longer and harder than any class of worker in the United States. So It seems to me clear that we in this room, the friends and sisters in this room, have worked a huge revolution already just to realize that it doesn't have to be that way. Just to have got to the point where we know we are not crazy, the system is crazy. And we have made huge strides in mutual support, in telling each other stories in all those small groups, in understanding and having the revolutionary idea that we are full human beings. Imagine that. We have made huge, huge steps, and we have huge steps to go. We will, for instance, take there's the question of equal pay. We all know that, all right? There's also the question of the caregiving work. That could be easily given a value, an attributed value, by giving it the value the money you would need to replace that work, right? Valued at replacement level. And making that sum of money tax deductible if we pay taxes, and tax refundable if we don't pay taxes, and we have gained the principle of refundability. It's doable. I mean, it could be doable. It's doable in the tax policy. And that's the next step after equal pay, because that changes our idea that values all productive human work, not just some. And then there's the question of parenthood. If I hear, "Can women do it all?" one more time, my nonviolence may be gone. Of course women can't do it all can't have it all if you have to do it all. And who wants it all? I mean, but nobody ever asks men this question. I mean, women are leaning in, but men are not leaning out. So I really, really think we have to understand that until men are raising children as much as women, it won't work. And until men are raising children, and are raised to, I don't have children, but I was raised to raise children. So I was raised to be empathetic, to pay attention to detail, to, all those qualities that are wrongly called feminine, but are just human, are developed in women and much less developed in men, which means that men are missing some of their human qualities too. Kids are never going to grow up knowing men can be as loving and nurturing as women unless they see it. Until women are no more responsible for children than men are, we have a few little things to do, I would say, don't you think? It's not surprising it's going to take us a while. It took 100 years for the abolitionist and suffragist movement to gain a legal identity as human beings. It's likely to take 100 years now to get legal equality, having got a legal identity. And even then, we'll have more in the future, until we once again have cultures in which we understand that we are linked, not ranked. So we're it, folks, here. We are the revolution. We are the revolution, or the evolution, given how long it's going to take. And everything, absolutely everything we do matters. But I find it interesting to think about a bird with two wings. If one wing is broken, the bird can never soar. And you and I, in this room, are mending the other wing for the whole human race. Thank you. Now we have our organizing meeting. She's just saying that there was a piece in the Enquirer about reproductive freedom and equal pay, and she believes, that it's very important we have more women elected officials, and that takes money, and we don't have money, and how do we do it? Okay. We do it by getting out the vote. Even though people, the rich candidate can pay for television advertising, obviously much more, but people have come to believe television advertising less and less. And, I was just in North Carolina, and they're trying to take back their state legislature from the right wing. And what they have found is the single most successful thing they can do, and they've elected many people by doing this, is for women in a specific district, electoral district, to write to their neighbors by hand, even in the time of computers, okay, to write a letter by hand with your own home address in the corner, saying why you support this candidate and why you think it's important. And also, I think we need to help each other know that we could be a candidate. But women don't tend to get up in the morning, look in the mirror and say, I see a member of Congress, So we need community groups, and I think this effort is going forward in this state, right? I mean, there's a big effort to get more women to run, right? To go to women and say, you would be a good candidate and I'll help you. The big lesson to us is that we have paid more attention to Washington than to our state legislatures. And we need to pay equal attention to our state legislatures.
Well, Gloria, as a state assemblywoman here, this district, we want to see a female president represent us in our lifetime, don't we?
It's not just getting a job for one woman, it's finding somebody who makes life better for all women. I mean, we know that going in. But having said that, it's really important to have someone who looks like, who you can identify with. Right. So I totally agree that it's absolutely crucial. She's saying that she read an article about my childhood, which already it seems to me so bizarre that and about my mother. And so, because a lot of us here are mothers too, what would I say that I wish had been true for my mother? What would I say to other mothers here? Well, I from the bottom of my heart, I would say, lead your own life. My mother was a pioneer journalist. She wrote at a time when she had to write in the beginning under a man's name. She became a newspaper reporter. She became a Sunday editor. That must have been huge, But she was married to my father, a wonderful man, and totally irresponsible, but a wonderful guy. And she had my sister, my 9 years older than me sister, and she couldn't make it work, and she was made to feel guilty about and she had what was then called a nervous breakdown, right? And was in a sanatorium for a couple of years. I think like lots of women here, I bet, are living the unlived life of my mother. And I'm so happy to be able to do that. I love doing that. But I hope that mothers will live their own lives so that daughters don't have to live their unlived lives and regret their mother's talent as I do. Live your own life, because your daughter does what she sees, not what she's told. And also in the little things, to remember that every time we go past a mirror and criticize our bodies, a girl is watching. The question is about the media and a documentary, an instructive documentary called Misrepresentation, which perhaps you saw, and the hypersexualization of young girls. So how can we help our daughters to value themselves and boys to value girls as much as themselves, right? It's very difficult because the media is our current campfire, so to speak, so it's hard. But we can do two things, I think. We can use it to teach with, so that, little girls who begin to notice that Barbie falls over flat on her face. We have chick flicks, but the truth is we also have prick flicks. Okay, so why? We need to help. We need to use the media to teach with, and also going on a fast every once in a while, and just looking at real people. But you can all write to the publisher, who's the person who is responsible for making money of a magazine, online or otherwise, and say, you know, I'm not going to support anything advertised in your online magazine. I'm not going to buy your regular magazine if it has all these unreal images. It is up to each of us to pressure in any way we can. We don't have to buy those magazines, and I agree. I was just saying that we should let them know that we're not buying. Talking about a clinic near you, right, that has all the picketers outside, you know, all the anti-abortion picketers outside, and trying to force women to have children they can't care for. And what can we do? The things we can do, which is to be a clinic escort ourselves and go with those women and support each woman and say, we're here, we support your making a choice, we, you know, are a protection between you and those picketers. And we need to support those clinics and the people who are working in those clinics, and we need to control our state legislatures so they don't issue any restrictive legislation. All right, we've begun to organize a little bit. Okay, all right. Any other organizing announcements before we? The question is about the word feminist, and that for her it's an honorable, great term, but for younger women, for millennials, it isn't always, and how come? All right, first of all, it is more popular than it used to be. It's also true that it's not the only word. There's womanist, there's mujerista, there's girls with 3 R's, which I love. We can use different terms and mean the same thing. But the backlash has, of course, devoted itself to distorting what feminism means. You just have to send people to the dictionary. And when I'm really frustrated, I confess that I say, well, you have 2 choices. You can be a feminist or a masochist. That's it. Okay, wait. All right, we've had a little organizing, but I haven't heard any, we're going to meet Tuesday on the lawn with, okay. Right. So I just want to I'll make my old-fashioned organizer's deal with you, which goes like this. If you promise me that in the 24 hours, beginning at 9 a.m., everybody here will do at least one outrageous thing in the cause of simple justice. I don't care what it is. It can be saying, pick it up yourself. It can be telling everybody where you work, get everybody to compare their salaries. That's the one thing we know, but they keep us from telling, right? Can be deciding to run for office, can be telling your friend you'll help her run for office. I don't know. I mean, supporting you in the state legislature. It's entirely up to you. But if you promise me that you'll do this one thing beginning at 9 a.m. tomorrow in that 24-hour period, I promise you that I will do one outrageous thing too. And what that means, wait a minute, what day of the week is tomorrow? Friday. Okay, that means that by the weekend, the world will be better. And you will have such a good time.
Ms. Steinem, we thank you so for your message. Your words continue to teach us and inspire us and motivate us, and I can't wait till Monday morning to see what we've all done. I would like to thank each of you. Your presence here tonight, along with the commitment you made earlier this evening, enables us to continue the important work we do here in South Jersey and on behalf of Jews everywhere. Thank you.